What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Alright, so before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to Young Ton for his donation to the channel. And I really thank you for contributing to this channel, your support for this channel. And I'm glad that you enjoy my videos. I try to do the best videos I can for you guys. And I want to thank everybody that has supported my channel and has contributed to my channel over the past year, and everybody that has supported my channel since, some of you guys almost since the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So I want to thank you all for that, man. I really do appreciate it. Now, this video is a response to Town Biz. All right. Now, if you're not subscribed to Town Biz, go ahead and subscribe to Town Biz. It's Town Biz Sports and Entertainment. But I think it's ENT for entertainment. And he was inquiring about this new movie that came out with Tom Hardy called Capone. All right. And the critics are absolutely just destroying this movie. Right. And he was asking if any of his subscribers had seen the movie. I saw it. I saw it the actual first day that it came out. And because I'm a huge fan of mob movies. You know, I love the Godfather movies. I even like the third one. The third one is the weak wheel, but, you know, the weak one, but it's not that bad. It's not as bad as critics make it out to be. But I like the Godfather movies. Of course, I used to like the Sopranos, Boardwalk Empire, Untouchables, you know, pretty much any mob movie that has come out, I can sit down and watch it. Okay. This movie is different. This is not a movie. This is not an action movie. Okay. If you're coming into one, I'll put it like this. If you're coming into this movie thinking that this is going to be your typical Al Capone performance, then you're going to be terribly disappointed. Terribly disappointed. The thing about me is that I'm a bit of a historian, okay? So I already kind of knew what to expect because this movie focuses on Al Capone in his last days, okay? And I'm trying not to tell this movie. Okay, I'm trying not to reveal too much. But the Al Capone that Tom Hardy is portraying is far from the Al Capone that was the leader of the Chicago outfit during the 1920s and into the early 1930s. Far from that guy, okay? He has no power. He has very little. He has really no influence. He is, in reality, a very, very sick, pitiful man in this movie. Pitiful. Honestly, you know, and I have to think that some of the critics of this movie may not like the optics in this film, okay? And by that I mean it's truth. It's not romanticizing. It's gritty. It's real. If you've ever had to take care of a family member who was suffering from advanced dementia, everything that you see in this movie is you recognize as real. I think Tom Hardy's performance is extraordinary. Okay? There are a lot of people that say he's miscast. I don't think so. If you see how an advanced syphilis patient looks, sounds, I think he did a magnificent job. You know, that's the thing I think a lot of people don't understand is they say he doesn't sound like Al Capone. Al Capone, toward the end of his life, probably didn't sound like Al Capone either, because he had syphilis probably for over 30 years by that time. Plus, he had had a couple of strokes. If I'm not mistaken, I think syphilis can affect your voice and your vocal cords. And it does over time. It affects all your organs, okay? But the most notable thing is it causes dementia, okay? So, no, I think Tom Hardy did an excellent performance. I think the critics just they came into this film not knowing what to expect. Okay, this isn't your bang bang shoot 'em up Untouchables. This is not Robert De Niro's Capone. This isn't Stephen Graham's Capone from Boardwalk Empire. You know what I'm saying? This is him way, way far from that. Even if you watch Boardwalk Empire, right? I don't know if you're familiar with that show, but it came on HBO early 2000 teens, I think. I think it aired from 2010 to 2014 or 15. And if you watched Boardwalk Empire, Stephen Graham played Al Capone. If you watched the 5th season, you will notice that he was starting to display, this was like 1931, right when he was getting ready to go to prison, right, for tax evasion. And if you watch that show, you would notice that his Al Capone was starting to display symptoms of syphilis. Early signs, though. He would forget shit. He would call somebody and then forgot that he called them. Summoned somebody, I guess I should say. He'll forgot that he summoned them for whatever reason. He would rant and rave and complain about shit, and then midway through forget about what the fuck he was angry about. He totally forgot a central character from the first season that was a friend of his that was murdered in the first season. I think at the end of the first season. And he didn't even remember that guy anymore. Didn't even remember the character. So those were some of the early signs, but I've never seen a movie that focused totally on his disease progress that advanced. And I think another thing that people will complain about, one thing people complain about with this movie is it's hard to decipher what's real and what's not. And I think that's the point. You know, I think this is one of those movies you got to watch more than once. Okay? Like I said, this movie is very real. Okay? It's not a romanticized tale of Al Capone. All right? That's basically what I'm going to say. I'm trying not to reveal too much about it, but I put it like this. You got to come into your mindset watching this movie has to be more about watching a man, a once infamous, powerful person reduced to being an advanced syphilis patient. Pathetic. A shell of himself. Okay? Very deteriorated. Basically with the mindset of a 12-year-old boy. Okay? Very demented. Doesn't know, sometimes he would have some flashbacks of a little bit of his old self, but for the most part, this is a confused man, very sick man. But it's a very real portrayal of his character. And there's one other thing I want to address. One other thing that is part of this movie. It's the only thing I'm going to reveal. It was always rumored that Al Capone died with approximately $10 million buried somewhere, right? But the problem is that toward the end of his life, he was so demented that he couldn't remember. So there are central figures in this movie that, although they are his family, they also, because of the care that and expenses, they are very curious as to whether this is true or not. This is an ongoing rumor, or like some type of, I guess rumor that he had millions of dollars stashed away, and they're trying to get him to remember it, and some of them in a more nefarious way. You know what I'm saying? One particular character is shocking, the dual role that he's playing. So I didn't think it was that bad a movie. Okay, is it my favorite movie I ever seen? No. Was it the worst movie I ever seen? No. I just think people came into this thinking it's going to be something that it's not. It's not. This is a tale of a man toward the very end of his life, suffering. And in some ways, some people might say he was getting what he deserved. I mean, think about it like this. Hitler. We've seen movies with Hitler being portrayed in his prime, right? The great rabble-rouser speeches, energetic. But then we've seen some movies that show him at the end, right? Somewhat depowered because his generals weren't really listening. Excuse me, weren't really listening to him anymore. Probably had Parkinson's disease, drug addict. Looked 70 years old. Okay, we've seen these type of things in movies before, where we've seen these people, these historical figures portrayed way past their prime. It's just that this one is really gritty. Like, this one really doesn't hold back any punches. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to showing the ravages of syphilis. All right, so that's all I got to say, man. If you're a fan of mob movies, you may not want to watch it. If you're a fan of acting, then you might want to watch it. Maybe. I'm not saying you should pay for it, but if you can find some way, if you can watch it for free, or if you can pay, if you can rent it for $4 off YouTube or whatever the hell the price is, give it a try and, cuss me out later if you didn't like it. But that's pretty much my thoughts on it. Tell me what you guys think.